This is Sarah Leslie with Go All In, helping entrepreneurs live the life they want to live right now, making the money they want to make the way they want to make it, while also living a rich and full life outside of their business. True personal freedom. Let's go. Hey, 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 and welcome to Go All In with Sarah Leslie. I am your host, and I am delighted to be here, and I am so glad that you're here too. So it's nice and cozy here in Asheville, and the fall has totally taken over. The leaves are all over the ground. It's just been delicious, as you can imagine, in this part of the country. It is delicious for the fall, and I'm loving it. And today's topic, which we're just going to dive right into because I'm so excited to talk about it. Actually, I also want to thank Dory, who recently joined. I'm up to actually 113 podcast subscribers, which is fantastic and great. Let's see, I've been doing this podcast for a little over a year, so probably about 15. And, it's been a journey, some various learning experiences as a result of doing this, how I want to be showing up, what I want to be talking about, how often I want to put stuff out. It's not a thing I'm putting a ton of attention into as far as my business structure. And so it's been a learning curve of how much time I want to put towards it, and also exactly how I expect it to be used and what kind of return I'm looking for. So if you're interested in any of that information, please shoot me a message, send me an email is really best, and happy to chat about it. All that to say, I'm celebrating to be over 100 subscribers for the amount of effort I have been putting into it, which is, like I said, very minimal. Welcome to Dory, and also thank you to John for a recent comment that he made about an episode number 37 about going all in on your dreams and not to wait for the right time. So check that episode out. It was very good. They're all actually really good, I think. So today's topic, which we're going to dive deep, I have heard this sentiment of wanting to make their business services accessible. I've heard it quite a bit, especially here locally in Asheville. We tend to have, there just is a vibe of wanting things to be equitable, which I very much appreciate. And this space between that, where I don't agree, of the goal to make things accessible to as many people as possible. I actually think being accessible is very akin to being generic, hence the cover thumbnail for this episode. And the title I'm giving this is Being Accessible to Everyone is Generic and also not really possible. So I'm sharing this because if you're like anything like me, which I'm sure you are to some degree, you're working so hard on your business and on your strategies and your ways of communicating what your message is and the ways of communicating your services. And also you're amazing at your craft, and you're for just the simplicity of it, you're crushing it. You're great at what you're doing and you are super passionate about it and all of the things. And I want you to know that being accessible just really isn't a thing. And I don't want you to get sucked into that trap. I definitely did when I got started in my business several years ago now, coming from a therapy background and being a generalist versus really specializing in a certain place in therapy. And so very much in my being was this desire to be accessible to everyone and not to like drill down and niche down into something specific, which is why I didn't do it inside of my therapy practice over the 20 years, because I wanted to be available. I wanted to help whoever needed help. I wanted to be available to whoever came into my world. And the thought of doing anything to prevent people from coming into my world felt very anti my views, my values, my beliefs at that time, having grown up in the church with deep beliefs of helping others and giving to people who can't afford things. And then also my values rooted deeply in social work and therapy. All of that to recognize that I am now in a very different place. Neither is, it's not that I'm in a better place, just to be clear, but a different place for sure. And a different place for sure. And I want to share that with you because it's my journey. It's been my experience. And I was very focused on that way of being for about 20 years, probably longer. Really, probably since I was like 10 years old, really, up through starting around 38 to 40, where I started to have my most significant awakening. I don't want you to get sucked into that. And I definitely don't want you to think what you're doing is wrong. If you're already niching down or you're already charging prices that feel way out of quote unquote accessible range, I don't want you to feel bad. I want you to continue on your path and I want to encourage you. So, all of that to bring us to today's episode, which we're going to dive deep into what does this even mean for the sentiment of wanting to be accessible. And I see it as a very subtle form of holding back, of your wanting to not grow as fast. And also your there's like a need for other people to come with you. So we're going to do a deep dive on that. We're also going to really do a deep dive on an understanding of where that even comes from. I already alluded to some of where that came from for me and how I got to living up till close to 40 years old, accommodating to others and feeling, bad about leaving people behind and so forth. And then lastly, I'm going to help you reframe this and look at it just in a completely different way so that you can continue being the, badass self that you're being right now and lean in even more, having heard this information, leaning in even more to your unique journey, your unique path, your unique business, your unique messaging, offer, all the things, so that you can feel even more inspired to continue on your journey. In getting us started, I want to reiterate, okay, for those of you that are listening where I might be like ruffling a little bit of feathers, stay with me. Because like I said, I was there for over 20 years. And where I am now in my life is a bazillion times better. So stay with me. And I want to just say, if that's you, your intentions are coming from a really good place, for sure. And so are mine. So there's nothing wrong. It's not a problem. I want to offer you simply a new way to consider this that you just haven't yet seen. I think of it as having been misguided, which definitely is where I came to realize. And I had a lot of feelings about it once I really saw the new way. And it's based on our programming. It's based on what we come to believe from our childhood, from our experience in our young adulthood, and so forth, and the different values and beliefs that we come to hold at that time. So it's not even necessarily something that you, as the authentic God, divine you that you are, you may not actually even believe in being accessible to as many people as possible. And I want this podcast to literally change your life and recognize there's actually a totally different way to think about it and break you out of some old programming and old conditioning that I would just say you probably don't even realize you're operating in. So I will also recognize for my own journey, what this oftentimes looked like is I would be so excited about a book or a podcast or some new training I went to or some new thing I learned from wherever. And I would bring it to my people and with so much excitement. And this was going on since I was at least 10 years old. Probably even earlier, but we'll call it 10 years old. This high excitement over learning something new, over finding something new, over discovering some new information that I was like, whoa, this is just totally going to change my life. I want to share it with all my people so that it can also change their lives. And this is about how it would go. I would bring all this energy, all this excitement with whatever this new thing was that was changing me. And I would share it with my people. And over time, I noted, wow, when I share how my life is being changed by something, the people around me do not get as excited. And I would say some of them just did not get excited. They were unmoved. Some got excited, but more from this place of excited because I was excited, sort of like a pat on the head. She's so excited, kind of a vibe. I'm excited for you, right? Very few people would actually jump on board with me and be so excited for themselves. It definitely did happen. I had great clients when I was a therapist. I also had great staff when I was working at the treatment center I worked at for many years. And some of those folks in those worlds would jump on board. For sure. And it was a small percentage compared to the number of people that I would share this information with. And what I started to uncover and learn, and it really sank in with one dear friend specifically, where I was on fire about various things. And as I was sharing with this person, I noted very distinctly they are not being moved by what I am sharing. Wow, this is so incredible to notice that someone in my world who I would consider a very dear friend was literally not being moved by this thing that had just been changing my life. And this is one of those really significant moments where I recognize we really are all on our own individual journeys, which obviously intersect with each other's journeys. Yes, of course, for sure. And we really are on our own unique journeys. And I must give the people in my world, i.e., any of the people that I speak to in my world, the space to be on their own unique adventure and not receive it as a personal letdown or make it be about me or diminish my excitement for the thing that I'm excited about. Or even make it be about, like my being upset at them for not responding the way I would like for them to. Then what I actually needed to do was just give them more space to be on their own unique journey and be excited for myself. Then as I felt moved to offer it to them, but with zero attachment and a commitment to myself to not let their lack of excitement or their lack of buy-in impact me negatively. Now, let me be serious. Let me be real with you. This continues to be a bit of a journey, even today, a bazillion years later. So wherever you are in this journey, it's totally fine. And it truly is a learning process. To be able to be your own best cheerleader truly, truly is a learning process. And it's totally possible. And when you allow that to be the way that you live, your entire life gets to be so much more fulfilling, so much more enjoyable. And you ultimately will have a bigger impact on the world because you won't be losing time over the letdown that, let's be real, for quite some time I felt and took up a lot of my energy. Feel free to pop it into the comments if you can relate. I was going to say, raise your hand if you can relate. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm not actually live. So that's when I really started to notice there's something to this. And I need to learn how to be different and not let other people's lack of excitement pull me down. So how does this feed into the bigger conversation here? Well, when we're trying to be accessible, we're believing that we're meant to pull everyone forward with us. And we're just not meant to do that. It's kind of violating to assume that. And it's diminishing to both yourself and your journey, and also to the other and their journey. So also to be clear for any of you that, again, whose feathers might get ruffled at this point, I'm not saying not to be nice and I'm not saying not to be helpful. Of course, I would love and do. I give out so much of my stuff. I help so many people totally for free. And there's a real distinction here when we're consciously choosing to run our businesses and our lives from a place of, I don't want to leave anybody behind. I want to be as available to as many people as possible. That is a lifestyle decision. And what I would say is we're not meant to live that way. We're meant to offer people an opportunity to come with us. And if they decline, we are meant to continue on our journey and give them the space to make their decision for when they want to come, if they decide to come. We're meant to inspire people to move forward. Yes, continue to share, continue to shout it from the mountaintops when you find something and you're like, whoa, this thing just totally changed my life. And learn the skills that you need to learn and remove the baggage inside of yourself that you need to remove such that you don't get disappointed, feel overwhelmed, feel upset, or waste any energy on that other person saying, I don't want to join you here. We want to actually lead by example rather than try to slow our growth down or slow ourselves down or try to force others to come with us. It's actually a form of, there's so many words you could put on this and I'm just going to rattle it off, right? It's a form of people pleasing. That's also a form of codependency. Again, it's very stealth. It took me a while, probably a few years, I would say. I started really diving into this element around 2018 and, it's 2025 as you're hearing this. And well, as I'm recording this, you're hearing it whenever you're hearing it. That's like 7 years where I am continuing to, I mean, I'm light years from where I was in 2018 of being so agonized that people close to me were not coming with me on this spiritual, emotional growth journey. And they were continuing to live the same way that they had been living. And I was separating from that. So it's very subtle. What ends up happening in our businesses specifically is we want to lead. We're excited about our business. We know we have a fabulous service and we've seen the results that people get from our service. And we also don't want to lead. Like at the very same time, you want to lead, but also you really don't. Because here's what they don't really teach you that I am all about teaching about leadership. They don't really tell you that you actually do have to go out and be the front runner. And so if you're used to having a pack around you, which I totally was. I grew up moving around a whole bunch. And so when I would get to a new place, I would create a new world around me and I would be so excited to have this new world. And that happened multiple times in my, first 20 years of life. And so that became very difficult for me to leave and or to lose people or to separate. And so in my quest to be leading, which I'm just a natural born leader, I'm just so curious. I'm right out there like, let's go, let's ask the questions, what's happening here? And I also wanted a pack around me. So it created this push-pull tension inside of me of I want to lead, but also I want to pack around me. And so if I was wanting to lead but didn't have the pack, I would oftentimes slink back and be like, oh, I don't really want to go out there by myself. I mean, come on, who's coming with me? And then I would go back and try to recruit people to come with me so that I could rise again and be leading. Well, it's taken me, it was a 20-year journey essentially. And I'm continuing to shake out a few, last areas where that is still the case to really learn how to actually lead where I'm not allowing other people's decisions to slow me down or hold me back from that level of leadership I feel called to. And sometimes in our business, oftentimes in our business, the way that leadership looks or how it comes through is in the decisions that we're making, in the pricing that we're choosing to put on our services and our products and all the things. It's in our decisions around what rooms we're going to be in versus what rooms we're going to leave. It's a decision to what people we're going to have closest to us versus what people are we going to create some distance with. All of these are what I'll just say more of the truth of leadership. And again, I don't feel like very many people talk about this. And when they do talk about it, what they say is being a leader can be lonely. And that sucks. Like, who wants to go be a leader when the sentiment is it's gonna be lonely? Yeah, no, that's not a thing you're gonna want. So what I want to offer to you here is when you decide to lead powerfully, you will inspire people to join you. They may not be and will not be all of the people who've been in your current pack. That is true. I mean, like rare occasions that the entire pack would move forward with you in every way that you're moving forward. I mean, this will happen for sure in your business, but listen, loves, it will also happen in your personal life. When you make moves to get healthier in your body and you recognize you want to stop doing certain things or you want to start doing other things, the same thing applies. Like you will be changing the world around you, the landscape, as one of my fondest clients would refer to it. The landscape around you does change. It must. Because again, when you're leveling up, things will change. So the corner bar where everybody knows your name. That was one of my dreams, was to have that corner place where everybody knows my name when I come in. It might mean you have to change that place where you no longer go there because I don't know, one of my corner places has been a gas station down the road from me. And it's the main place that's right here in the vicinity. And so if I need something or I have a craving or something comes up, I'm like, oh, I'll just run down there. And then I started to develop some really unhealthy habits with running down there regularly. And I was like, whoa, I'm trying to level up in health and the various things that I'm eating and nutrition and blah, blah, blah. I can't keep going to the corner store. That was a little challenging for me. I'm using it as a small example. And legitimately, I was making friends with a couple of the people that worked there and just, various people that you would see when you stop by at the corner store in your neighborhood. So my decision meant my landscape was going to change. And this is going to happen in very profound ways in your world as you're experiencing this. Okay. So it's a new way of being where you decide, I'm here to guide, I'm here to lead, I'm here to show others the way. I am not willing to have myself held back for any reason at all. One other way that I remember seeing this in a business that I was a regular client at was, I'll just say a chiropractor for simplicity. And as I was going to this chiropractor over time, I started to recognize, and this was in another place where I live, not current, years and years and years ago. I started to realize that this person was like not evolving. And I started to realize I was actually evolving so quickly that I was getting to the tension point where I became aware he's not going to be able to continue helping me because I'm growing so fast in my own self-awareness and my own awareness of life that I'm growing past where he will be able to meet me. And again, it was very hard for me to leave because I had grown a fondness for this person, a fondness for the office, for the staff, etc. And I just had to give myself some space before I came to the conclusion I have to go. Again, because he wasn't willing to grow. And I had several conversations. I mean, when I work with various practitioners, I usually end up having conversations with them about how they can grow until I would say just in this last year, where I'm actually connecting with practitioners that are either at my level or ahead of me, which is fucking awesome. And for the last 20 plus years, I have attracted practitioners who were not where I was. There was nothing wrong with them. They were fabulous at their work and they weren't committed to the growth process in the same way that I was. And so eventually in our relationship together, and this is for anyone that I worked with for a period of time, I would grow out of our relationship and I would realize it's time for me to move on. I'm not going to go into any more detail on that. So basically, this first essence, right? We're really just recognizing, oh, this is a subtle way that I'm slowing myself down from my own growth. And in your pricing, for instance, I've heard people say things like, I want to be accessible. And I'm like, yeah, how long do you want to be at $100 or $150 an hour? Is that your entire career? You're going to be at that one number? Okay. I mean, if you were working for someone, you would never stand to make the exact same amount of money per hour for your entire career. That would never stand if you were working for someone. Well, at least my true people, that would never stand for us. So be assured. You're meant to increase. So where does this come from, right? This comes from our childhood programming, as I referenced earlier. It's in the unconscious part of you to feel these things until you have really brought them front and center and assessed them and really understood. The purpose of life is for you to grow into your full, unique experience, for you to live into the full becoming, the full potential of who you are here to be in the world, where you feel deeply fulfilled and powerful and on fire. Okay? That is the point of being alive. The point of your life experience is to get there and enjoy that process in every facet. So it's a misguided programming to think that you should accommodate, adjust, tweak, diminish, not move as fast, wait for other people. So a new way to look at this. We are here to inspire people to do what we're doing. What we're being. It's an opportunity to really deepen and enrich your understanding of leadership. So we aren't meant to be like, come on, people, come with me. And we aren't meant to be like, I'm here and I'm going to wait until as many of these people can join me. And then I'm going to move forward. We're not meant to do either of those. What we're meant to do is be on our own unique journey, be so deeply inspired by our own unique experience and our own journeys that we then inspire the people around us to want to come with us on the journey. And for those who don't, we're meant to respect their decision not to. I know that can be really hard. I do. Firsthand, I know it is really hard until it isn't. And that is what I teach, both in my one-on-one program, Liberated Living, and in my 5-person small group option called the Faith Pod. This is what I teach inside of there, is how to be able to leave and or continue on your unique journey without feeling guilty about it, and how to feel deeply inspired by yourself and your own decisions and your own journey and your own future dreams. It is an actual set of skills to learn, to integrate into your being. And it requires you to let go of some of your current ways of being. The only way I have been able to do this is from actually doing my own inner work, working with a coach, having a guide, having someone to wrestle this out with. That's the only way I've been able to do it. So we're here to be true leaders. We're here to be the quote one in your world who's charging out ahead, who's saying like, hey, let's live our very best life right now. Let's live the truth of who we are. Let's live in the fullness of our authenticity, not hold back, not diminish in any way. Allow ourselves to experience the full abundance and prosperity that we are here to experience, and inspire those who want to join us on the journey of where we're headed. So the other quick thing I want to just touch on here is one of the undercurrents that can really feel hard to separate from is the many ways that most of us are told there's a destination and or you should stay wherever the current destination is, where you're like, oh, but this is so good. Or even take, for instance, family and tradition. It's so easy to get sucked in, especially as it relates to family and tradition, to believing that you should continue doing exactly the same tradition or the same ways that your family does it and has ever done it. That's, again, it's one of those destinations that I find people oftentimes get stuck at. Easier to see how you can get stuck at a workplace and the security and various things, and also in your business, how you can get stuck in various places where you're like, anyway, I won't go into the details of how we get stuck. You know how you are getting stuck. You know how your people around you are getting stuck. And we're not meant to be static. Life is here for us to grow, for us to advance, for us to progress. Not for the sake of chasing the money. Don't hear me that way, okay? Because that's not at all what this is about. It's literally the opposite of that. It's about allowing ourselves to become what we are designed to become, what we are literally here on the planet to become. This is how you actually become your most useful and most impactful on your life journey, by doing this, fully leaning in to who you're meant to be, to who you desire to be, living full out in that experience, no holding back, going for whatever the truth of your heart is, where you light up inside and you're like, yes, this is so good. That is what we're here for. So if you're not doing that, or you're not feeling that the majority of the time, even when all the challenging situations are going on in the world, then there is more for you. There's more goodness available for you. And isn't that exciting? I just think that's so exciting. All right. To close out, I'm just going to say being accessible is generic and ultimately just not possible. And doing the behaviors to try to be that way out of the quote unquote goodness of your heart is literally holding you back from potentially your greatest achievements yet to be discovered for your time here on the planet. You're here to have a unique experience that is unique and specific to you. Being accessible is an old program. It is an unconscious old program with a set of beliefs that are meant to keep you small and less impactful than you are designed to be. You are here with a beautiful purpose, a beautiful dream, beautiful inspirations. And the only way you get to fully allow those to unfold is by being willing to step out, to lead, to step fully into your own self-leadership and your own leadership here in the world, and truly live out your unique purpose in your business and in your life. That is what I help you do inside of my programs. All right, you guys, between now and when I'll see you next, I look forward to our time together, and go do that thing you most want to be doing. Cheers. Ready to hire your own personal one-to-one mentor to help you take your life and your business to the next level? Go to my website where you can sign up for a no charge, no pressure consultation where we can get to know each other better. I get to hear your vision. I'll help you understand exactly what's getting in your way. And if it feels like a good fit and I believe I can help you, we'll talk about what it looks like to work together.